Following on from last week's video where we decked the entrance to the house over the concrete slab, I've turned my attention to the stairs. Stay tuned. Morning guys, my name's Daryl and welcome to the channel. Now this week we're looking at decking the stairs that go up to the deck that we put on the entrance last week, and I'll link to that video up here. That deck was over a concrete slab. These stairs are, the stair outer is a brick construction that's rendered over the top, and the stair treads are just a precast cheapo concrete stair. And that's why we're going to cover them up, because they look absolutely atrocious. But anyway, before we go there, let's have a bit of a chat about oils for this decking timber. Now last week when I finished this off, the weather was absolutely atrocious. It'd be sunny like this, and at the moment I'm baking in the morning sun, which is really nice. But last week it was raining off and on, and you'd get, you know, a couple of hours of sun and then it'd just pour down rain. So I didn't want the bare timber just sitting out in the weather like that all the time. So I just wanted a coat of decking oil over it. As normal, you deep dive into the decking oil thing, and looking at the local hardware shop, there seems to be a consumer grade of decking oil and a trade grade. The consumer grade is easy to use, so a lot of it's water-based, which is what I was going to originally use because it sounded good on the surface. A lot of it is the normal sorts of oil that just penetrates into the timber. However, when you start reading a little bit more of people that have used it and reviews and the like, a lot of the oils don't last a long time, and a lot of the new water-based products seem to put a surface over the decking boards that at some point you're going to have to sand off and redo again. So that was the feedback that I've seen for all the reviews. A lot of the oils seem to flash off really quick so you can walk on the decks again, which again is good for a consumer use, but they don't seem to last. And one name that started to come up the more I looked into it was the Q-Tech range, and we've gone for a Q-Tech CD50. They did have a CD50 and an extreme CD50. Now they just seem to sell the extreme, and from what I can see it has some antifungal products in it, so you don't get moss and the like on these decks in some parts of the country. It's an Australian product, which is great, and seems to be used, you know, worldwide. The problem with this though is that it doesn't flash off real quick, and it just soaks in, which is really good because it soaks into the timber. Not flashing off real quick means you can't walk on the deck quickly. That's not a bad thing either, as long as you know what you're getting into. I was also recommended to use this by Grant at Four Wheeling in New South Wales, and I'll link to his YouTube channel down below. He's got a great YouTube channel for four-wheel driving and camping in New South Wales, does a lot of reviews and the like, and he's a top bloke. So go and have a look at his channel, worthwhile. Yeah, he recommended this too, and he's in the game. He sells a lot of this timber and this sort of stuff. And as he said, it's, you know, it's the bee's knees. Now the good thing about this is it comes untinted. So if you really wanted to use it as untinted, you can. A lot of the natural oils have a slight tinting, and that's to stop the boards greying off under UV. This is a pure untinted oil, so you can put it over the boards, it'll look really good, but they will grey off. There's no UV protection there for them. After using a few sample pots of oil, and I found the sample pots for the Q-Tech stuff were free. You could just wander in and you could say to the guy, look, I'm after this one and this one and this one, and he says, oh yeah, just take it home, and if you want, bring it back. So that was really good customer service, found that great. In the end we picked a colour. It's a little bit dark for me, but the more I look at it, the more I'm happy with it. And the drama is you do have to put something over it. I'd prefer it to stay this colour, but there's really nothing out there that will give you this natural colour, and most of the oils, once you put something over them, replicate, even in their natural state, the timber wet. So there's no getting away from the fact, but the more I'm used to this, and once everything will be done, it looks quite nice. So it's just getting used to your expectations versus reality, I suppose. But anyway, I've put a coat of this over. It did take about, 4 to 6 hours to completely dry. I didn't drench the thing, I just wanted a light coat over it. And when it has rained, the rain just bubbles up on the surface. It doesn't soak in, it just runs off. We've protected this and we can move forward with everything else we're doing. And as we're going, I'll just put a coat over all the rest of it. Now, as you can see, we've got 4 of these stairs here. However, we're only going to treat 3 of those as stairs in themselves. So you'll have a stepping action of 4 times up onto the top deck. The bottom one, I'm going to extend out and extend wider to make a platform that you step onto. And the reason I want to do that is I want to have a couple of offset platforms going down, and those platforms will be different sizes, offset to each other, and they'll have a garden intertwined between them. I really didn't want a formal look to this house. I've had a house previously where everything was formal, and I just don't want that this time. So this is where we're going. Now, as you can see, we have these 3 steps in different levels of construction. The bottom step, I've got the battens fitted. The battens are exactly the same as what we did last week. So 90 by 45 H3 pine. They've got a 5mm plastic spacer underneath them. The battens are then bolted to the concrete slab with ram set concrete screws, and over the top we've got a membrane with the hats on the side for 90mm battens. Now, on top of these battens, we'll just affix our decking boards, and again we're affixing them with the Spax 304 stainless decking screws, and they're 5 by 50mm from memory, and they're 31 cents each because I just had to buy another 600. $180 or something. So anyway, not cheap decking screws, really good though, and I don't think I might have wasted 2 of them by just dropping them and not picking them up. For these decking boards, we're using 2 of the 86 by 19 spotted gum boards, and we're using 1 at the leading edge that's 136mm by 19. So they're all the same height. The reason I'm using the 136 on the leading edge is that I wanted that leading edge, as you can see here, to protrude from the faceboard on the riser. And the reason I've done that is that over time, as people step on them, they step on this leading edge, wear that, and they're not pushing down on the riser. And at the end of the day, I can just replace this board at a certain point. But this will take the wear better than the riser, and that's why we've done that. And I've also got away with not ripping down any of these boards. So I've been able to use the boards the width they are with a 5mm spacer between them, and it's worked out absolutely superb. Now, for the riser on this, I wanted to cover from the base of this board over this concrete step tread, and to do that I've also used the 136, and it actually works out really well. The problem we then have though is covering up all the workings of this at the side. So that's the concrete stair tread, the batten and the end grain of the decking material. And you'd think, oh, I'll just put a complete cover plate over it of the decking material, but you can't do that because you'll see the end grain of that at the front of the stairs, and you really don't want to see that. So what I've done is I've notched out this front leading edge board to the width of what the side plate is, the thickness of the side plate, and then extended the riser at the front so it finishes off at that width too. And then when we put the end plate on, we don't see the end grain on that from the front. I've also had to extend this. I really would have liked to have the join here where I've made this wider to follow this line of sight through. However, I've screwed these in because I wanted some sort of mechanical fix, not just a dowel, because people could tread on the top of this and I want it to be sturdy. So that's at the bottom, it's just there. I couldn't think of a better way to do that.
body, move it, baby. Move it, body. Move it, baby. Move it, body.
Well, after a sand and a coat of oil, I think that's turned out okay for a first time doing stairs. Pretty chuffed with that. The side panels, I'm still tossing up whether I route a line along the top so that the line of sight with the timber on top of the stairs sort of all lines up together, but I can play with that as we go. And I think for a first go at doing stairs, putting timber over them, it's turned out pretty good. From here, I'll start the platforms, and I think once we get some greenery around it, the contrast between the timber, the render and the stone, and some plantings, it's going to look pretty smick. Well, I think it will, and let's hope it does, because it's an expensive mistake if I get it wrong. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.